Hello, my name is Christopher Sheen, and I work closely with teachers as a teacher trainer and professional development coordinator with Oxford University Press, and I'm based in Istanbul, Turkey. On behalf of OUP, I wish to say thank you to you, the teachers, who've had to venture into some pretty new learning territory and included us in your support network. Today's session is on grammar with a focus on primary. The underlying concept here of moving from pictures to stories can be applied to other ages of learners, but the reason examples given here are better applied to primary. Telling a story competently, no matter the length, requires both fluency and accuracy. So fluency, keeping the listeners engaged, and accuracy, helping the listeners understand the intended message. Therefore, a learner storyteller, even one with limited vocabulary, can engage fluently and accurately to tell a story. That is, we want them to become proficient at it. Indeed, Dr. Paul Nation has commented on proficiency, saying, at every stage of language learning, learners need to be fluent in what they already know. And storytelling offers a forum for that. And specifically about stories, Andrew Wright explains quite nicely why we want to use them. The key, especially when addressing something like grammar for primary learners, is how to make it engaging. This can be challenging in unusual circumstances, but today we'll pay a little more attention to how you could do it online. So when it comes to storytelling, one way you as a primary teacher may already be using is with puppets. Now, they open the doors to lots of potential activities, but as you'll be doing this online, and depending on the age of your students, you may want to ensure they have parental help if they plan to use scissors or very strong glue to make their puppets. Therefore, a good idea would be to email a checklist home to the parents with the basic supplies that their children will need. For example, here are two friends. Orange is the puppet on the left and Sunny is the puppet on the right. And yes, even though the puppet Orange doesn't have any orange on him, that's what the children named the puppet. These were created by a group of 6-year-olds with socks and buttons and rubber bands, cotton balls, construction paper, glue. So our end goal is with our students to have them be able to tell a story proficiently with their self-made puppet, as fluently and as accurately as possible while having fun. The process along the way will involve some teacher-controlled practice, but it will still have student choice embedded in it. Now, in order to get our kids to practice the words and sentences, the building blocks of their stories, we start by having them draw pictures. So why is this a good idea? Generally speaking, primary kids love to draw in color, at least if they're given some choice. So after you decide the parameters for their stories, for example, the vocabulary sets, the expected length, begin with step one. Now, step one, if done live, for example, maybe you're using Zoom live session, ask the students to draw some nouns for their story, hold them to their camera for you to see. And this could be done noun by noun. It would let you see if everyone understands in real time, helping when you need to. However, if you record and they record, then you can just say in your video the list of the required nouns, they draw the pics and send you a digital photo of them. I recommend encouraging them to be creative when they draw in color, as much as they wish. After all, they're primary. And you can also encourage them to add a noun of their own, and that will make the story more student-centered. So what we're going to do is look at our cool cats, Orange and Sunny. Okay, now once our subjects and our objects are drawn and colored, we'll move to step two, which is cutting them out. Now, if the students have sticky tack or tape, they'll be able to use them more easily when they photograph them on their timeline, but they're not absolutely essential. So depending on the story, and today we'll just look at a simple version of one, our friends Orange and Sunny could be doing something in different time senses. Sunny may ask Orange, "What are you going to do?" referring to the future, and Orange would reply, "I'm going to climb a tree." Or Sunny may ask, "What are you doing?" referring to the present, Orange replying, "I'm climbing a tree." Or, "What did you do?" and Orange would reply, in the past, "I climbed a tree." The key is that we will use these movable cutouts along their timelines to give them enjoyable practice and help them enhance the conceptual accuracy of time for when they tell stories with their puppets. So here's a timeline. As stories move our students through the broad concepts of past, present, and future. There can be temptation for teachers to focus too much on the grammar terminology. So they can be made aware of it, but primary students are much more familiar with now, after, before than they are the other. And indeed, they're easier to conceptually grasp for primary kids. So we'll be using these now, after, and before for our timeline. So this brings us to step 3. Ask the students to draw a horizontal and vertical line to indicate time, labeling it before, now, and after. And through your video communication, give them a series of sentences. Ask them to move their cutout pieces into formation, again, through live camera or submitted photo. This is a simple task, but it's effective because it lets you visually see what the students are thinking. We don't have the benefit right now of face-to-face of reading their body language or hearing their tone. So these add an extra importance for you to see how they are thinking, or the lack of understanding. Once you're satisfied and confirm that the pictures and the objects, the subjects, they're all in the right space in the timeline, move to step 4, which is asking them to write a sentence that describes the picture. Now, they might write the same sentence that you said, or they might write a version of it, but as long as it matches the visual representation, and they can send it to you digitally, that's fine. You continue practicing in this way, choosing required sentence structures and vocabulary, or asking students to contribute some of their own. Now, for a practice extension idea is have them take 3 photos of their storylines. The first one like this, which you see now, which is a complete photo. You could have 1 photo of just sentences and 1 photo of just the pictures. In this way, effectively, you're having the students send you material that can be recycled with the other students in that class or other classes. And as they're digital, they can be easily shared. So you might send some pics, a photo of pics to some students and they write the sentences, or vice versa. You send the photo of sentences and other students draw the pictures. In both cases, the students are going to show you their answers either through their webcam or a digital photo. The complete photos essentially are serving as answer keys, and you can show this to all the kids on the webcam or email the photos to everyone. I think the students will be interested to see their sentences drawn by a classmate or vice versa, somebody using their pictures to write sentences. The result of doing steps 1 through 4 means that students will have practiced the necessary sentences that they will be using in their storytelling. So fluency is practiced when they hear you say the required list, and also it's practiced mentally when they're drawing their picture, and their grammar accuracy is practiced as they write the sentences, reinforced within the timeline. So this leads us to step 5, creating the puppets of the characters in their story and practicing telling the story. When the kids are ready to tell the story without the storyboard, have them or their parents record their storytelling digitally to send to you. As you have the storyboard photo, you can follow along. So in summary, in this approach for grammar for primary, remember the language parameters set are up to you, but also don't forget what Dr. Nation said about proficiency at all language levels. And a story told fluently, and I will add accurately, even if short in duration, is still beneficial for young learners. Having the visual storyboard and the practice they do with the supporting sentences and with the puppet they make ready to tell the story, primary learners can become engaged, even if it's just a digital classroom. So depending on your situation, you may consider sharing the puppet videos of all the students with each other. If you have 20 students, that's 20 videos that you can share. During this time of learning from home, these videos could be a hit with their friends watching them multiple times. And when we finally move back into the classroom, you can encourage the kids to bring their new puppet friend to class to meet everyone face to face to tell more stories. For more resources and ideas, please explore our OUP website. Thank you, and I sincerely wish you and your students success.